ansioso.
Forward, James, forward, please.
I've got to interview you, mate.
If Daniel wants to interview me.
The way it started was actually, it was with Rupert. He'd worked with Brian before. He made a short called Get the Picture with him, and there was another disgustingly ugly shoot in the north of Hackney in the rain and mud. But surprisingly, Brian actually really enjoyed working with on the film.
You get to know somebody, and you work. I work with people all the time, a lot of people, and then some people don't go away. They're insistent, and Rupert was pretty insistent with me in a way, which was quite touching and flattering in a sense.
Rupert came to him with another full-length feature script he'd written and offered him the supporting role.
He came and he said the script, and was to play this character, which was a supporting character, and I blew up. I suddenly lost my temper. I just said, I've had it. Mm-hmm. I've supported long enough. I said, I want my shot.
His offer was basically, if you write me a leading role in a British independent low-budget movie, and I like it, you can count on me to have my name on it. So that was the call I got from Rupert was, come to London, we've got to write something for Brian Cox, because if it's good, if he likes it, he'll do it.
I mean, the inspiration, I suppose, from day one was the short story by Ambrose Bierce, Incident at Owl Creek. Now, that's a short story that was written in the 1890s, I think, and it's about a Confederate soldier who's being executed from a bridge, to be hanged from a bridge by these Confederate soldiers for being a traitor. And he's thrown off the bridge with a noose around his neck, and he falls into the water, and the noose breaks free, and he goes into the water, and he manages to escape downriver with all the soldiers firing on him. He climbs up onto the riverbank, and then there's this whole escape across the wilderness, across enemy lines, back into a forest, which he then recognises as a place that he grew up nearby. Sees this cottage, his childhood home, runs towards that, his wife comes out of the cottage, and at the moment that they embrace, the rope around his neck goes tight. So the journey itself is the final few seconds of his life as he's falling from the bridge.
So Rupert's idea was to basically do that story, but do it in prison, and have the whole sort of death be the actual escape. So the whole movie would essentially be this 1 second of this guy dying. So he pitched that to me, and my problem with that was I didn't want to do an It Was All a Dream movie. I was like, if I'm watching this film and at the end of that, you tell me everything you've watched for the past 2 hours doesn't exist, it's all in the character's head, I'll be pissed off, so basically what I said is that, I think it can work if you do this double narrative.
So we're running two parallel stories that ultimately converge by the end of the film. And at that point, there's a very clear understanding as to what that escape that we've just witnessed represents.
This is what's both scary and also wonderful about this part, is it's playing the sort of role I've always wanted to play, which is, which is someone who finds purpose in what their life is about. At the last minute, in the last second of their life, they find some kind of purpose.
That ultimately, that reason is about redemption and about allowing for another way of escaping, which I think doesn't pull the rug from underneath the audience's feet, but actually gives them something instead.
One of the things we were quite keen is to give the escape scenes more energy, a more direct and immediate approach, and be a bit more, in technical terms it was handheld and sort of faster pace, and the prison interiors were shot much more static. We had longer sort of architectural shots, and creating also a contrast between these two worlds in terms of color.
Yeah, it certainly is a timeless world, and you know we never see the outside world. It's set entirely within the prison, prison walls or underground during the escape.
The whole idea of this prison world being sort of time capsule, that they were closed off from the outside world, and you weren't quite sure of a sense of place and time, which I always like in films, where you kind of think, is this a 1960s period film or is it contemporary, and there are elements of both. And in this particular film I thought it made a lot of sense because of course these were life inmates and they had not been out for 20, 30 years, and so they were stuck in time.
The filming schedule has been so small for such a particular type of film, but in a way... Ooh.
It is a tight schedule. We shoot the film in 25 days, which is not a lot. But that having been said, we don't have unit moves, we don't have complicated setups, we don't, you know, we're in the jail for X amount of time, we're in the studio for X amount of time, and then we're in the tunnels.
We knew we didn't have a choice. We knew that in order to make the film that we wanted to make, we had to, you know, we had a certain amount of money. This was my first film. I wasn't going to get any more money to make a first film. So we either had to make it within 26 days or the film wouldn't happen.
I love the fact it's so fast. I love the fact that we're trying to get so many pages in, we're trying to do it. I'm for that. I love pressure. It's not bad pressure, it's the good pressure.
No boss ready when I'm fucking ready! I know! Everybody's saying get the actors in and we're not ready!
Escapist can be one being really moving with the small, small budget. I love that. I love that because everybody really sees you really tight from doing one movie like that.
Everything's been condensed and we've been working really, really quickly in some of the most disgusting conditions.
Millennium Jail was built, I can't remember the term for it, but it's where a prison guard can stand at any part of the prison and see everything. And it has this crumbling decay. It was closed in the 30s. And since then it fell into disrepair and it's since been renovated and is now a museum. But it's all still there, all the cells are still there, all the tiers, the ground level, everything is there. So it's an extraordinary location.
The fact that we filmed in the real prison for the majority of it was brilliant. The fact that we've been in cesspits under brown murky sewage water for days and in some really foul wombs of London.
I think the locations have really helped get that sense of claustrophobia and dirt and filth and anxiety.
Just one steps down.
I knew that if we didn't get off those tracks by 4:30 in the morning, when the tracks were going live, so there was no chance of going over, then we wouldn't have a finished film. So what do? Nobody can give you an answer to that. The producers can't say, well, just give it your best shot. You know, it's their job, and that's what they do so well. Adrian and Alan is basically say, you got to fucking well shoot this. Doesn't matter how you shoot it, you got to shoot it and tell the story.
This script gave him brilliant visual possibilities as well as brilliant character possibilities, as it were. So it's a very good showcase for him as a highly visual director as well as an emotionally developed director. Not really very good, is it?
He's emotionally retarded. Yeah.
I think part of my job is to make judgments as to where you can compromise and where you can't compromise. And I'm realising, I'm learning a lot in the sense that having made this film, I realise now that's a key role of directing, you don't always have the other an opportunity to go again, to shoot another take, and you have to make that call. Do I go again, or do I move on? Have we got it?
He can be under the most incredible pressure and create the most wonderful shot, and at the same time say to his DP, come on, we've got to move it. And at the same time say to his actors, no, I'm going to do it this way, get one. And then that's a take, we move on. And that's remarkable.
I would love it that he walks away from this film and the screening of this film feeling like he's got what he hoped for, which is, playing the character that he always wanted to play, and was what drew him to this film in the first place. He understands Frank Perry. So it would be wonderful to obviously get a global cinema release. It'd be wonderful to have this within the catalogue of great prison escape movies.
Such as? Favourite prison escape movie?
Favourite prison escape movies. So I mean, Papillon would have to be up there.
My favourite prison movie? Oh, it has to be, oh Christ.
The Rock. Not really. Not really. No, my favorite is actually In the Name of the Father, which Cameron is obviously in as well. So.
Prisoner Cell Block H.
That's not a TV series.
It's fantastic.
With the women, the women's prison. That's crap.
It's one of the great films of all time.
Yeah, it's killing me.
And it's gone. I love it.
Le Trou, which is a French film, The Hole.
I love the Lars von Trier movie with Bjork, which doesn't really take place in prison, but it ends up in one.
Listen, I love Shawshank Redemption. I know everybody loves it.
No one's mentioned it yet.
Shawshank, or is that a bit pathetic to say that?
No, you're only the second with Shawshank.
Damn, okay, let's say something else.
Brubaker with Robert Redford. It's a beautiful movie. Beautiful story. I love that movie.
Escape from Alcatraz.
I'm going to go with Birdman of Alcatraz.
I like Cool Hand Luke too.
I can't remember the title, it's gone.
Birdman of Alcatraz.
Hold on, didn't I say that?
No, you said Shawshank.
No, I didn't.
You said Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, what did
Escape
you
from
say?
Birdman of Alcatraz.
Kieslowski's short film about killing, which also ends up in a prison.
The Great Escape is a great prison movie. Shawshank Redemption.
My favourite prison movie is In the Name of the Father.
Why?
The acting.
My favourite, Papillon. I really like Papillon.
Oh. Le Grand Illusion. Le Grand Illusion. Great film.